UI migrate, and there we go. So let's go ahead and run the server. And I'm going to make a few changes real quick here. In the forms, I'm going to add those two new fields, so draft and publish. All right, so I'm going to save that, and we're going to refresh in our project, and we'll click on a post and go to edit. We now see that we have two fields in here, draft and publish. So these are the fields that we can work with. Draft, whether or not we want it to be shown to the public, and publish, whether or not we want it to be shown to the public as well, but after a certain time. Those aren't always the same, right? So you could actually have the publish date in the past, meaning but also have it as a draft, meaning you're still working on it, but technically it was published in the past. Or you already published it and you just want to pull it off of the site. You can just quickly do draft, and that way it will pull it right off of the site. So it's kind of a way to like make it private as well. We just call it draft because that's essentially what you would be calling it when you're writing a blog post. So when you're doing some sort of article. Okay, cool. So now that we've got this, let's go ahead and just take a look at the create here. And we're going to create a new one. So I'll just say new car and new car. Grab that car image again. And we're going to call this a draft. And the publish date I'm going to set in here. You have to do the 4-digit year. So 2016, which is the year we're in now. Which is amazing. And we'll do the date, so the month, so 01 all the way to 1/2. You would not do 1 for January, you do 01. You have to have that first 0 in there. And then you can do some arbitrary day that's, of course, a valid day in that month. So in this case, the 10th. Now I create this post, creates the post. It actually comes up, shows up just fine. So now what I want to do is actually change the date that's being shown up. Instead of showing the timestamp, we'll show the publish date. So back into our post list, I'm going to change the object.timestamp into object.publish. Save that, and then I'm going to get rid of ago, and then into post detail, instance.publish, and we'll save that and refresh. And now we see the publish date, or the date that it will be published. Notice this shows in the future, right? It's not showing now how it is, but it's showing what's going to happen in the future. So that's something that we want to kind of avoid when it comes to the end user. But for us as the super user, we can see this just fine. And I also want to show if it's been or if it's in draft mode or not. So I'll do if instance.draft. Then I'm going to add a little span in here with a style of color red. And I'll say draft. Close off that span, close off the end if. Okay, and there we go. Now if I refresh in here, it's now showing that it's a draft, right? So that's all we're going to do as far as this one's concerned. The next thing is to think about how do we actually adjust our query set, and also the object, seeing the object itself. How do we adjust those things without taking into account the draft and publish stuff? And we're going to do that by using model managers as well as object filters. So I'm going to show you both of those things in the next one. So filtering, a new type of filtering, or querying, and then also a manager, so we can actually have a easy call for the active things. All right, so if you have any questions on this one, let us know. Otherwise, let's keep going.